الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد. I recently came back from America a few days ago on Monday, some time ago. And on the plane coming from America, there were a number of Hasidic Jews who were on the plane. So when you travel these days, most planes are not full. But they were about 100 of them. They were clearly a Jumu'ah traveling from New York together. On the plane when we were traveling, and I looked at the Yahud, I could see that their deen was difficult, that they themselves make their religion difficult upon them. And this is one of the characteristics that the Yahud have in the Qur'an and the Sunnah. And you have to remember that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لَتَتَّبِعُنَّ سُنَنَ مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ شِبْرًا بِشِبْرٍ وَذَرَاعًا بِذَرَاعٍ. You people are going to follow the Yahud, Ahlul Kitab. You're going to follow them and everything that they did. One hadith said, if one of them has relationships with his mother in public, people from our ummah are going to do that. Another narrator said, if the Jews, Yahud, Nasara went into a lizard's hole, you're going to go into a lizard's hole. So everything that the Yahud and the Nasara did, we're doing it. They went overboard. وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودُ أُزَيْرُ بْنُ اللَّهِ وَقَالَتِ النَّصَارَى الْمَسِيحِ بْنُ اللَّهِ. The Yahud said Uzair was the son of Allah. The Christians said Isa was the son of Allah. We have that here. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some people say that he's Hazir, Nazir. He's with us right now. He knows the ilm al-ghayb. He didn't die. Some of the shuyukh of the Turuq as-Sufiyya, they believe that their imams are all kinds of nonsense. But anyway, as I was driving and I was looking at those Yahud, and when we got on the plane, they started eating right away because they don't eat the food on the plane, not the Hasidic practicing ones with the curls. And this is not to put the Jews down. This is a reality of my observation. The ones with the hats, they're in London especially, in New York. So I saw many of them were eating. As we got an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the flight, they all got up and they were all making it difficult for the stewardess to push the trays for the rest of the people on the plane. So we have to eat. But they didn't care about us. And I don't think they didn't care about us because they thought they were better. It could be because they believe they're the Sha'bullah al-Mukhtar. They believe they're Allah's chosen people. So take the land of the Palestinians because Allah chose you. Some of them believe that. But what I think it is just their religion. Like some of the Muslims who lose their brains. The Muslim who prays in the middle of the aisle or he parks his car in a crazy way. He doesn't feel he's better than everybody. He just wants to hurry up and run to the Jumu'ah. So if he's late for the Salat, he knows he's late. He'll drive his car and just park his car and start running. Where the religion tells him, come to the Salat bis sakina wal waqar. Take it easy. So that's how they were. They blocked the carts. The people couldn't push them. They blocked toilets. They were just worried about themselves. And then after they came out of the toilet, they started doing their thing. So I took a picture of that. It was ironic that I saw all of that because I want to make this khutbah connected to that. Allah described Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and told us about the Jews in the Qur'an. One of the things that Allah's Rasul did for mankind was to make things easy for them, especially the Yahud. Look what happened with the Yahud back then. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِقَوْمِهِ يَا قَوْمِ إِنَّكُمْ ظَلَمْتُمْ أَنفُسَكُمْ بِاتِّخَاذِكُمُ الْعِجْلِ فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ فَاقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ عِنْدَ بَارِئِكُمْ فَتَابَ عَلَيْكُمْ. We heard this ayat the other day. And remember when Musa said to his people, "Oh, my people, you Yahud, you have oppressed yourselves by worshiping the ijl, the calf." When Musa went up to get the Torah to meet Allah, he went up and he left Harun, his brother, in charge of Ben Israel. So they made a calf and they started worshiping that along with Allah in the absence of Musa. When Musa came back, he said, "You have oppressed yourselves doing this by worshiping the calf. So make tawbah by killing yourselves. Kill yourselves. If you kill yourselves, that's better for you with your Creator. He'll make tawbah on you and forgive you." So that was the toughness that Allah had with them. They asked a lot of questions. They were tough with Musa and their prophets and messengers. So Allah made their religion tough on them. A few years ago in London, a Jewish rabbi, he gave a circumcision to a Jewish boy. When they give the circumcision to their son, the rabbi sucks the part of the circumcision to get the blood out. That rabbi had herpes in his mouth. He gave the boy herpes, and this is how the world knew this is what the Jews do. But this was something undercover between themselves. Coming from Africa, we look at the khitan as important. Someone wants to come and marry one of our daughters. You a revert? Yeah, you get a circumcision? Yeah, because that's important to us in our religion. It's from the fitrah. It's from the sha'air of al-Islam. ذَلِكَ وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. So back in Spain, the Muslims were weak. They were hiding their religion. Stop wearing beards. That's how the Muslim man identifies himself. But in that condition, you get killed. They start changing their names, started giving their sons names George and Brian, not Ahmed and Muhammad. But one thing they kept in Egypt, in Spain, they kept the circumcision, akramakumullah. So the enemies would see if he was circumcised. So it's big with us, especially as Africans. It's big. Can you imagine your son? Someone come, give him the circumcision, and then suck the blood until it gets clean? Who does that? That's their religion. That's the shiddah. If they want to make meat halal, they have to bless. They have to bless the knives. A special person comes, special dua, all of this. And then they do all this craziness. Our religion is not like that. So they were rough. Allah was tough on them. They asked a lot of questions. Allah was tough on them. Inna Allah ya'murukum an tadhbahu baqara. Allah orders you, kill a cow. They want to know what color cow, what day should it be, who should do it. Just questions and questions. So the Prophet told our community, Dharuni ma taraktukum. Don't ask a lot of questions unnecessarily in the religion. So their religion was tough. In our religion, there are those people who make the religion tough on themselves. So when the Prophet came, Allah described him in the Qur'an to the Yahud and other than that. From what he said about him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was يَدُعُ عَنْهُمْ إِسْرُهُمْ وَالْأَغْلَالَ الَّتِي كَانَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ. Muhammad comes and he takes off of you the difficulties that were on you and the chains that you put on yourself. They put chains on themselves. They didn't sit with their wives when their wives had their menses. Akramakumullah. His daughter, his wife, you have to isolate them when the natural sunnah of Allah goes in the girl. You got to isolate her. She can't see her family for 7 days. That's in Islam. So the Prophet came and said, no. Mix with them. Just don't do what do you do? Now, what's the point? The point here is, we have in our community, especially people who come from Africa, my people who should not be fasting, but they insist on fasting. People who don't know, well, Islam is easy. So they make the deen hard on them. I don't know how many people I've lost over the years because the man is fasting, 75 years old. My wife comes from Kaduna, Nigeria. May Allah bless the people of Kaduna and save them from the Turk of Sofia and from Boko Haram. My wife grew up fasting Mondays and Thursdays. That's her personality. She has to fast the month of Ramadan. She's an African Muslim woman. She can't imagine not fasting. That's how they grow us up, and that's a good thing. But the Muslim gets to a point where fasting is not permissible for you. You shouldn't be fasting, not at all, because you're from those people who are exempt. So Allah sent a religion that makes things easy. Allah mentioned in the Qur'an, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُخَفِّفَ عَنْكُمْ وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. Allah wants to make things easy for you. He wants to lighten your burden because mankind was created weak. Someone here is the strongest person here. If we ask him, pick this member up and go around the block, he can. There are some people can't pick it up. Some people can get it 3 steps. Some people get it down the steps. But someone is strongest one. That person is weak. Weak compared to the Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who Allah said, "Sanuqi alayka qawlan thaqila." We're going to give you this Qur'an and it's heavy, ya Muhammad. وَلَوْ أَنزَلْنَا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ عَلَى جَبَلٍ لَرَأَيْتُهُ خَاشِعًا مُتَصَدِّعًا مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ. For Allah revealed that Qur'an on a mountain, Fuji mountain, Himalayan mountains. That mountain would have fell down. Rasulullah handled that. And then people are going to come and say, it's just the sunnah. It's just the sunnah. Just the sunnah, man. He would be on his camel. The Qur'an would come down. The camel would fall down from the thaqal of the Qur'an. And we say, not democracy. The kuffar, white people don't believe that. Allah said in the Qur'an about the ease of Islam concerning the verses of fasting. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرِ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرِ. Allah wants ease for you. He doesn't want difficulty for you. So if you're traveling, you don't have to fast. If you're sick, you don't have to fast. If the lady is pregnant, she doesn't have to fast. If the lady is giving milk to the baby, she doesn't have to fast. Abdullah ibn Umar, he used to tell his wife, his daughters, his slave girls, if they became pregnant, you don't have to fast, don't fast. What, 8 months, 9 months? No. As soon as they knew she was pregnant, you don't have to fast. His wife is 7, 8, 9 months pregnant, she's fasting. Because she can do it. She feels she can do it. Yeah, you may get through all of Ramadan, but after Ramadan, your baby may die. Your wife and your baby may die. Allah doesn't want you to test the waters and take that chance. And then Abdullah ibn Umar told his wife, his daughter, his slave girls, you don't have to make up the fast. Just pay the fidyah for every day you missed. So we have some ulama, and we respect the ulama, who say you have to pay and make it up. What are you talking make it up? Allah mentioned in the Qur'an about Al-Hajj, in Surah Al-Hajj, وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ إِبْرَاهِيمَ. This ayat is talking about Hajj. Allah has not made things difficult on you in your religion. This is the millah of your father Ibrahim. So if you perform Hajj, this is my uncle, this is my father. I'm going to say, Dad, I don't want you to perform Hajj Tamattu' this year. There's an easy one. You do Ifrad. You do Iqran. Easy. You leave off praying. And you shorten your prayers while we're traveling for Hajj. Until we reach Hajj, you combine prayers at Hajj. Make it easy for people. It's just too many examples. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Qur'an, Taha, ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'an litashqa. Ya Muhammad, Taha, Alif Lam Mim, Taha. We didn't reveal this Qur'an on you, Muhammad, to make things heavy and difficult. So we're in Corona right now. We don't have to read a whole juz of the Qur'an. If that's easy for us, we'll do it. But maybe we'll do half of that. Maybe we'll do just a little because of the condition. We don't have to kill ourselves. Allah didn't reveal that Qur'an to be difficult on us. Yeah, you have to make jihad and ijtihad and efforts, but the religion is not like that. Kill yourselves. Everybody knows the ayat. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا 2 times. Verily with difficulty there's ease. Verily with difficulty there's ease. Allah doesn't leave it difficult all your life. It's up and down. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. Up and down. So the Muslim never says, I'm going to commit suicide. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, my life is done. No, man, you better have sabr. This is what we learn in the month of Ramadan. Some of us are hungry, but we just keep fighting. We just keep moving. That's the dunya. That's life. Don't give up now. Doesn't want to be a Muslim no more. Why? Because I'm in Europe. Now, there are other ayat, but I want to share with you from the Sunnah. The ease of al-Islam. The Prophet described his religion, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ayat. وَمَا رُسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We sent you as a rahmah, ya Muhammad. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. It's a rahmah from Allah, ya Muhammad. You were gentle and easy with your community. If you were rough and tough, I'm a father. If I'm rough and tough with that boy, you better get that Qur'an. You better get up for salat. You better. My boy is going to say, man, this is just too tough. If Prophet Muhammad was like that with the awliya, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, they're from the awliya. And Allah said to him, if you were rough and tough, they would have left you. He's rough with his wife. He's married to a lady who's a Christian. He's rough. The new revert comes into the religion. She wants to accept Islam. He wants to accept Islam. We bring him up here in front of the people to take the shahada in Arabic. Repeat after me. Ashhadu an la ilaha. He doesn't know Arabic. He suffered from stage fright, social anxiety. Why bring him in front of everybody? Ask him, do you want to come in front of everybody? We're too rough. Lack of fiqh, comprehension. The adhan, it goes on outside. When I was in America, I went to a masjid. They were making the adhan outside. I told them, I think you guys should not let that adhan go outside. These are kuffar around us. Kuffar. We shouldn't wake them up at Fajr time. Old people, they have corona. Yeah, Abu Sama, but what about dawah? Yeah, what about dawah? It's not an Islamic society, man. These people can be cursing us, making all that noise. That's my opinion. We're in a non-Muslim place. Don't let the adhan go out, waking up the people, bothering the people. That's my opinion. In the authentic hadith, the Prophet described himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his deen. He said, "Inni bu'ithtu bil hanifiyyati samha." I've been sent with the religion that is samha, musamaha. That means it's forgiving. It forgives when you make mistakes. We're in the month of Ramadan. Our mother said, "Ya Rasulullah, Laylatul Qadr. What is the best thing I can say? Laylatul Qadr. What's the best dua? Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni." Out of all of the things that could be said, oh Allah, you love to pardon. You love to excuse and forgive. You love that, so pardon me on this night. There's not a person here except that he has problems that he sins from the kaba'ir. Major sins. And if Allah took everybody in this masjid to account for what we did, ma taraka alayha min dabbatin, he wouldn't leave a single human being on the earth. Not one. Not the khatib and not the people who listen. Because we have so many sins. But we have Allah who is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. He is Al-Halim Al-Latif. He is Afoon. And he loves Al-Afu, to forgive, to pardon, to overlook. But us, on the other hand, we don't forgive. We don't even pardon our own selves. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in authentic hadith, listen, describing this religion. He said in this hadith, the first one, somehow it forgives, overlook. And the next hadith, he said, alayhi salatu wassalam, inna hadha deen yusrun wa lan lil abadiyya lan yashad the deen ahadun illa gharaba. This religion is easy. And anyone who tries to be rough and tough in this deen is going to overwhelm him. So you walk to the masjid for Fajr. You make 2 rakats leaving your house. That's the sunnah. 2 rakats to leave your house. Do that sunnah in Ramadan. When he was leaving his house, 2 rakats, coming in his house, 2 rakats. Do that sunnah in Ramadan. He came to the masjid walking, getting the run. Every right step, hasan, every left step, sayyah. Come to the masjid, 2 rakat. Prays in jama'at, stays in his place. Sun comes up, he prays ishraq, 2 rakat. From the masjid, he goes to the hospital to meet someone who's sick. Gives some sadaqah over here. He's fasting on that day. And then he goes and connects the ties of relationship. Then he goes to work. Then he does it. And he's going to do that every day. If he does that every day, he's going to be overwhelmed. You have to pace yourself. How many brothers who we knew, they made tawbah? How many brothers we knew, they came into Islam and they tried to do everything and then they got burnt out? Take your time, pace yourself. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna minkum munaffirin. There are people from amongst you, you chase the people away from Islam. You chase your children away from Islam. The kid has to go to school all day and then to the Qur'an in the afternoon, and we just rough with him. Give the kid a break. Manage the situation. The companions used to encourage their kids to fast, the little ones below the age of 10. But when the kids started crying and making noise, they give them toys to play with, to distract them. But if the kid insisted, they let him eat. Let him fast on the weekend. Don't hit him in the head. Give him lumps on his head. Do it with what is reasonable. You know, in our culture, Africans, African Americans, we're rough people. I don't want anybody pushing me around. I'm going to let everybody know you're not going to push me around. But we have to discard that stuff sometimes. Rough? I don't know about you, but my father was rough, tough. Can't be like that with my baby. We have to be people who are gentle. The Prophet ﷺ, Hassan or Hussein came. Rasulullah was kissing the baby, playing with his grandson. He went off. The Arab, the Bedouin said, Ya Rasulullah, I never kissed my son. Prophet Muhammad said, I can't help it if Allah took rahmah out of your heart. You never kissed your son? You never told your son you love him? You never took your son like that and said, I love you, boy. You have no rahmah. From what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from you are those who run people away. Why did he say that? He had a companion, Mu'adh ibn Jabal. Yawm al-Qiyamah, Mu'adh ibn Jabal is going to come holding a flag, a raya. Behind Mu'adh ibn Jabal, Yawm al-Qiyamah, will be the ulama. So Mu'adh ibn Jabal, one of the 4 people who the Prophet told them, istaqru al-Qur'an min arba. Learn the Qur'an min Mu'adh ibn Jabal. Abu Bakr ibn Uthman, this man is a scholar of the Qur'an. He'll hold that flag and other ulama behind him. He used to pray Salat al-Isha in Prophet Muhammad's masjid behind the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was the imam of Masjid Quba, the first masjid built in Islam. His people used to wait for him to come to Masjid Quba. So Mu'adh would finish. He would hurry up to Masjid Quba. The people were waiting. Starts to pray, Allahu Akbar, Salat al-Isha. He started reading Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim, Dhalika al-Kitab. Started reading. A man got out of the line. Got out of the line, went on the side and prayed by himself, and then left the masjid. After Salat, the companion said, Ya Mu'adh ibn Jabal. That man got out and he prayed by himself. Mu'adh said he's a munafiq. That's a sign of the munafiq, the one who splits the jama'ah. He breaks away from the Muslims, doesn't pray with us. He doesn't want to be with us. He lies on us, tells our secrets to the enemies. That's one of the signs of the munafiq. Mu'adh ibn Jabal is a scholar. He's a greater scholar than Sheikh Rabi. He's a greater scholar than Al-Albani, Al-Imam Al-Albani, Al-Imam Ibn Baz, Al-Imam Ibn Uthaymeen. He's a scholar. He said that man is a munafiq. Mu'adh the next morning went to the Nabi. Ya Rasulullah, we were praying and a man got on the line, munafiq. Prophet Muhammad was a person who, he didn't hear one side of the story and make a judgment. He said, where's the man? Bring that man. The man came. Why did you get out of the line? Is it true? He said, yeah, Ya Rasulullah, it's true. You know why I did that? I work all day in the desert with my animals. I come at the end of the day. The one prayer I could pray is Isha. But I'm hot, tired, and bothered. Now I get in the line waiting for Mu'adh to finish with you. He comes to us and he reads Surah Al-Baqarah. I'm tired. They said that the Prophet looked at them and his face became red like a rumman. Red. He said, Inna minkum munaffirin. Inna minkum munaffirin. Inna minkum munaffirin. From you are those who run the people away. You run the people away. You run the people away. If any of you lead the people in prayer, make it short. Behind you, is an older person. Behind you is someone who's sick. Behind you is someone who has to go. Give a khutbah for an hour. People got to go back to work. And all I'm thinking about, Corona, everybody is home, at home. Everybody's home? No. People got to get back to work. A hadith he said for the mutashaddideen of Boko Haram, of Shabab, right here in this country. Man, our kids, little young girl stabbed a member of parliament in London. What did she help our religion with? The little girl from Bangladesh who lost her British citizenship, stuck over there for what? What did she help her religion? I'm not putting her down. I feel sorry for the girl. She was trapped in the snares of these mutashaddideen. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, halak al-mutanatti'un. Halak al-mutanatti'un. Halak al-mutanatti'un. The people who go rough and tough, too deep, too rough, they have been destroyed. They will be destroyed. Said it 3 times. Take it easy, akhi. Take it easy. Relax yourself. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. اسمعوا وانتبهوا جيدا. Are you in doubt about the ease of this religion and the mercy of Allah upon us? Are you in doubt? Well, I give you something that happened from the incidents during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. There was a man who, in the month of Ramadan, he had sexual relationships with his wife, not his girlfriend, not his girlfriend. There are people making zina in Ramadan with the girlfriend. He had relationships with his zoja, and he had iman. No one knew what he did except Allah and his wife. He went to the Prophet, exposed himself. Ya Rasulullah, halakt, I destroyed myself. Prophet Muhammad said, why you say that? If he was Hazir Nazir, if he knew the ilm al-ghayb, if he knew all the unseen, he would have known the answer. Why do you say that? He said, I had relationships with my wife in the daytime of Ramadan. As I'm talking right now, I don't know everybody in this masjid, but I know Beni Adam, and I'll stand here and I'll say, there is somebody in this masjid who has had relationships with his wife in the daytime of Ramadan during the course of his life, and it wasn't permissible. You have to make tawbah, ya akhi. That's a kabira from the kaba'ir that you actually forgot about. Show me a masjid here in Birmingham where that masjid is khalin. There's no man in there that broke a day of Ramadan. The Prophet was sitting with his companion, sitting. A man came from that door and said, Ya Rasulullah, can I kiss my wife while I'm fasting? He said, yes. The man left. A man came from that door. Ya Rasulullah, can I kiss my wife while I'm fasting? He said, no. None of the companions said, you know, look at this ikhtilaf. The hadith, ikhtilaf. So give me the Qur'an, but you keep that hadith. Even Bukhari and Muslim. Allah said in the Qur'an, وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ غَيْرِ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِي اخْتِلَافٍ كَثِيرًا. Give me the Qur'an. I don't want the Sunnah. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Well, there's always a plausible explanation if you just do what the companions did. Allah said, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know if you don't know. So our mother said, Ya Rasulullah, that man asked you a question, you said yes. That man asked you the same question, you said no. Why? She didn't say take the sunnah, the hadith. She didn't say that. So the scholar sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, as for that man, he was an older man. He was an older man. He's more in control of his desires, his shahwa. He knows how to kiss his wife and keep it moving. As for that cat over there, he just got married. He's 20, 21, 20. If he kissed his wife, you open up the door for other things. So no, you don't kiss your wife. So it's a plausible explanation. Plausible. So the point is, the man is young. He broke his fast in Ramadan because he's young. And he doesn't have to be young. In this masjid is somebody who broke their fast. And Allah knows best. Look at this man. Look at this man. Ya Rasulullah, I had relations. Prophet Muhammad said, okay, Rasulullah said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-Rasul al-Nabi al-Ummi, alayhi salawatullah wa sallam. Hey, do you have the ability to free a slave? Because if you break your fast having relationships, you have to free a slave. Man said, no, I don't have slaves, I'm poor. Can you fast 2 months consecutively? Shahrain mutatabi'ain. So if you start fasting, if you do this mistake, you start fasting, after Ramadan, you fast, you get to 10 days, and then you mix the next day, you gotta start all over again. You start all over. You go to 33 days, you miss the next day, you gotta start all over again. Because you broke your fast in the daylight time and hours of Ramadan. The man said, no, I can't do that. Okay, can you feed 60 people those 2 months? 60 people, 30. So can you feed 60 people for each day? I don't have money to do that, Rasulullah, I'm poor. He said, go sit over there. Sit over there. The day goes on. Some Muslim who knows, if you're a Muslim, you got to give sadaqah. If you're a Muslim, you got to take care of the masjid. Sadaqah comes from the word sidq. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Why is he Siddiq? Because of Isra wa Mi'raj, yes. And also because he used to give sadaqah. He showed the tasdeeq that he had of this religion. We got to beg people, give them money. You're a Muslim, Ya Abdullah. You have to give a portion of your money to the community. So a man came with some dates. Ya Rasulullah, these dates for you. Fi sabilillah, month of Ramadan. It's time of sadaqah. Prophet Muhammad said, where's that man who came who had that issue? Come. Take these dates and go give them to 60 poor people of Medina. The man said, Ya Rasulullah, ma bayna la bitayha. There's no one in Medina who needs these dates more than me. I'm poor. I need these dates. Prophet Muhammad smiled at the man. Smiled at that man. And told that man, go ahead, you take the dates. You take the dates. The man who had sex with his wife during Ramadan walked away with the ghanima. And I'm going to break the spirit of my boy. Come here. I'm going to break this boy's spirit with a claim I want him to memorize the Qur'an. Then I got to make the Qur'an something loved him. Have you seen this culture of beating the kids in the madrasa of the Qur'an? I would say something like, if someone did that to my kid, I'd crack his head. But I'm not going to say that here today. Can you imagine? Go to the YouTube and look how they're beating these kids. I want him to memorize the Qur'an. La wallahi. So the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam brought a religion that makes things easy on us. So you make things easy on yourself. And the way you're able to do that is knowing your religion, getting fiqh of religion. We ask Allah Ta'ala to establish us firmly upon His religion, to establish us firmly upon the Tawheed, and make us those people who are truthful in word and deed, to make the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the Prophet himself more beloved to us than our own kids. And we ask Allah Ta'ala to cause us all to get a beneficial, fruitful Ramadan that's productive. A Ramadan and a fasting, a qiyam and a siyam that has been legislated. One that He loves, the one that He legislated, the one that will give us a reward. May Allah Ta'ala make us all of those who are the muwaffaqeen. Aqim as-salat yarhamakumullah.